Hello and welcome to today's video. We've been doing a series of videos for small business owners or those that wish to start a small business. And today's video is actually on pricing models. We've talked a lot about business plans, financials, even QuickBooks and that sort of thing. Today we're really going to go into a little bit more depth on how you should set the price of your product or service and what sort of things that you need to consider in that. If you have any questions of the material today we talk about, again, everything's going to be somewhat at a high level, please contact Toledo SBDC and I'm sure they will be able to help you further. So the first one we will talk about is cost plus, and then we'll go into market pricing and then prestige pricing. You may have heard these terms before and we'll kind of go through and break it down for you. They're pretty simple to understand at some point, and some I would say are better pricing methods than others. So we'll just go through some of the disadvantages and advantages as we move forward. So first up is the cost plus. So this is also known as market pricing. Probably one of the simpler pricing methods to follow. It's basically adding a fixed percentage on top of the cost to produce a unit or product. So easy to use. That's number one advantage. If you are able to identify all the costs associated with one unit and then add a percentage on top of that, you have your price. You can really justify your price as well. You can say, well, if it costs me this many dollars to produce something, I know I will get that back. If I add a certain percentage, that would be my profit. So again, provides more of a consistent rate of return. Some of the disadvantages though, price can be set too high or even too low. So you're really not looking at competitors in this space or consumer demand. You're just saying, this is how much it costs me to produce something. There's no guarantee that you're getting all the cost either. So you really, unless you have a very well developed system of capturing all your expenses, you may miss some on the end, and that results in lower profits for yourself. And operation efficiencies are often overlooked. So this is something that is, there's really no incentive to produce something cheaper because you're always including that in your final price. Again, easy to use, and I'll show you a really quick example here. This is a cost plus example. So this is for, say someone's producing a pair of jeans. Material costs $10, the labor is $30, and the overhead costs, maybe of your manufacturing facility for this one unit, again, we're just doing one unit, is $15. So your total costs are $55. Okay. Sounds good. We're going to mark it up by 50%. So to get to that selling price, you would do 55 times 1.5. And your selling price is $82.50. Easy, right? But again, you're not looking at consumers. You're not looking at what your competitors are doing. And really, if your product's any different. So simple to use, but we kind of caution people using that cost plus. The next model to look at is market or competition-based strategy. So this goes into you're studying the cost of similar products on the market, you're studying the consumer demand, and also looking at how different is your product or your unit compared to competitors out there. What are consumers willing to pay for what's out there currently, and then setting your price accordingly. So this really supports your competitiveness and your revenue, making sure that consumers are purchasing at that price point, and you're doing similar things as what the competitors are doing. And the selling price really maximizes your sales as well, because you're looking at that demand. Really big disadvantage though, competitive and demand are dynamic. So that means you constantly have to be evaluating the space. What are consumers willing to pay for today may not be what they're willing to pay for tomorrow. And competitors change constantly. So is someone entering the space that's going to find a product that they were able to really make more of a commodity and the price drops, and now you're at a disadvantage because you are asking consumers to pay more for a very similar product. And your prices may be only suitable for some consumers. So we'll look at that. There's actually kind of 3 segments within market that you can price at. So one would be below market. If you price below market, you're basically going after that budget conscious consumer, which is fine. If you can afford that and be in that space, that's great. You could also do at market. So that's more for like a commodity product. If you want to really be right at the level your competitors are, price it with them. The last one is your premium pricing, or above market. So So you're saying you have a really premium product, it's better than competitors. Maybe you have a really strong brand image and you can price higher. But again, you're just targeting those consumers that are willing to purchase at that price point. So market takes a lot of variables into that space to be able to price it well and what you need to be priced at. I really consider this to be one of the more dynamic pricing strategies, and you are able to be competitive with this pricing strategy a little bit more than the cost plus. And I really try to get people to focus on determining and looking at all those factors when they're determining their price. What are consumers willing to pay and what all of the competitors are doing. It takes a little bit more time and effort, but well thought out pricing strategy in this part will be beneficial in the end. The last one to look at is prestige or premium pricing. So this is really kind of at that above market that we talked about, pricing goods at a high level in order to give the appearance of quality. Increase visibility, increase profit margins. If you can produce it for a low cost, but then have a really strong brand image and be able to price it with a really high price compared to what it costs to make, you're in that premium space. Although you do have to spend quite a bit of marketing dollars on this to be able to get that product into the right hands and into that consumer that's willing to purchase at that price point. And again, there's a limited consumer base. So the one thing is you may not sell as many units, but they are priced quite higher. I always kind of give this example too, is a lot of people say, well, I want to be a premium brand. How do I get there, or what does it take? But you also have to consider, if you are the premium brand, things that may make you less of a premium brand. So if we take the Tiffany & Co. example, they produce jewelry at a very high price point. It's very exclusive, but they went into thinking that they should target a more budget customer than the premium priced products allow. And that actually made their premium priced products less inclusive for those consumers, because they felt like, well, everyone can afford Tiffany & Co. They may not be purchasing the same products. They're at the lower price point products as someone else, but they did not want to continue to purchase Tiffany & Co. products because they felt the budget conscious products had watered their products down. So again, a lot of different things to take into account when you do pricing. One thing we just consider is, really looking at who are you targeting, and then what competitors are in that space, and going after where you think you should be with your product. You have to look at, do you have anything that makes it special? Do you want to go for a more mass-produced product and be more commodity, or do you want those budget-friendly prices for a different consumer base? So again, everything I talked about today was at that high level, but it gives you an idea of kind of where to start when you're looking at your business, and especially if you haven't entered into this space yet. So cost plus, very simple to use. Market includes a lot of variables and very dynamic, but you can price more effectively in that space. And then premium, if you really have that strong brand image, you can use. Thank you for watching today. Any further questions, please contact Toledo SBDC. Thanks.